What is up? It is your boy Thorenx here, and today I am going to attempt to bring a very good Rome Total War campaign to y'all. This is a game that I have played since I was in middle school. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I was actually part of the Heaven Clan, I believe my freshman or sophomore year of high school. Then, of course, stopped playing because I joined the military, everything like that. So I don't even know if, they're still even alive and well. This is way before I went through the name of Snowju, or ThorenxGamez, my bad. The name that I always went with previously was Snowju. So, that's who some people might remember me as, but it was way before I even did any type of video game play. So, basically, this is set back in BC era, where you have all these different type of factions fighting over land. Of course, these three lovely houses make up Rome itself. SPQR is the Senate. The reason why it doesn't have a map like some of these others is because you can actually go into the game's files and unlock and play as some of these factions. So of course the ones that don't have like a background picture are ones that weren't meant to be played as a campaign. But you can go into settings, change it, because why the hell wouldn't you want to be able to play as some of these factions? Like, if you want to play as the Spanish, the Scythians, Numidians, a whole lot of these are characterized as different groups. Of course, all the Romans are categorized as Roman factions. Factions like Gauls, Germans, Britons, I don't know, Armenians? Probably not. Dacians, the Spanish, they're all categorized as barbarians or barbaric units. And then you have Macedonians. I call them Macedonians. It's pronounced Macedonians, but I say Macedonians just because I like it better. Also, the Greek cities, Seleucid Empire. I believe Egyptians are part of the selection. They're considered Greek. So whenever you look up guides or anything, or type of units, they all get categorized as certain units. Today, we will roll with the House of Julii. It is the red color in one of the houses of the Senate. I normally will play as the Senate, take over the other Roman factions, and then just rule as the Senate itself. But for this Let's Play, I'm not going to. Usually, at the very beginning, you only have 3 factions that you can select from. So, I'm just going to go ahead, make it easy, and start out as the House of Julii. And then we'll watch this little intro as well.
I hate Gauls. My grandfather hated them too, even before they put out his eyes.
Hopefully you guys can hear the speech.
Without good reason. Yes, Rome needs a strong frontier. No, Rome doesn't need unwashed barbarians at her gates. So, that's why I'm here, the leader of the Julii, to bring Roman order to stinking Gauls. Revenge? That'd be good too. This war against the Gauls won't last long. And when it's done, I've got plans. This is all about power. Power in Rome. Going down that road means dealing with all my rivals. The Senate, the Greeks, those Carthaginian elephant riders. The Scipii and the Brutii families, too. After all, the man who controls Rome rules the world. And one day, I will be emperor.
All right. So, of course, he made a huge point of he hates the Gauls. Each faction that's actually set by the Creative Assembly for you to actually play in the campaign, they each have their own goals and objectives throughout their campaign. Of course, House of Julii, their point of the campaign is to beat the Gauls and then also hold a certain amount of factions while also taking over Rome and overthrowing, basically. The other two houses, my bad, the House of Brutii and the House of Scipii are also doing the same thing. They are trying to build up their power, take over or overthrow Rome and the Senate, and take over Rome. If you play as one of the Roman factions, the Senate itself will assign a mission to you, whether it's taking a settlement or attacking an army or ABCD. It goes pretty simple, basically. So time limit 10 turns. They're giving us 10 of our own turns to take the settlement of Segesta. If you succeed, you'll be greatly rewarded. That sort of stuff. So it has been a while since I have played this game, or any RTS game in general, may I mind you. So I can't promise you that I'm gonna be perfect, but I always very heavily tax my my settlements. Here you have the construction interface where you can actually construct things that will better further your city. Each city becomes part of a province. No. That is for later Total War series games. But each town you can manage if you have a governor. A governor is basically a family member or somebody that you have hired or bribed from other militaries to come in, and they usually have a face picture like this. So here we have how much money we have, what year it is, the weather, because the weather does play a part in troop movement there. So, oh no, I clicked out of the window. The sad thing is with this right here, I'm gonna scooch my camera over just a tad. Is some of this, some of the buttons are at the very edge of the screen, and if I try to go up over and click, it will click me out of the window. So, another thing with the Romans, you can come here and see the Senate seats. So these are all the different seats that our characters or other Roman settlements can hold. Of course, having many seats in the Senate, also how well they are of a commander, all plays in a part of your ability of when you're able to actually overthrow the Senate. Also, here's your family tree. You're able to see, who the faction leader is. This is also where you can set who you want your faction heir to be. You can also see when your boys are coming of age, which is important because you want to be able to have as many governors in other cities as possible. It plays a big part in population happiness and other things that you want to make sure everyone becomes happy. But our victory condition is become the supreme ruler of Rome and control at least 50 provinces. we have 284 years remaining of that. Another thing is, even though I said the goals, you have shorter campaign goals through the settings. That would be one of those things where it's, oh, hey, just outbeat the goals and hold however many settlements. So, you can sit here, see faction rankings. It's turn 0. We're not going to have any kind of rankings, so I'm not going to go through that. Here we have an overview of all of our armies. Who, like family members or a captain of an army is. You can go to settlements, see what their population, their public order is, their income that they're bringing in, and then agents that we have. Spies are able to sabotage things. Diplomats, we are able to talk to other factions, be able to set up trade and everything. So basically, you were playing your faction's leader, essentially. And you're trying to basically work your way to becoming top dog. Here we can also see how many regions we control, how many battles we've won, how many battles we've lost. There are ways where you can just automatically simulate the battle, but during this Let's Play, I think what I'm going to do is play every battle, because even though you have horrible AI, you could still turn around and win a battle. One of those things is, I remember playing, I wasn't attacking a city. I was defending a city with maybe 500 soldiers, and I believe the attacking force had maybe 1,500 or like 2,000 soldiers. So 3 to 4 times outmanned. And every time you get into a fight, it'll show like the predictability of your odds of winning, basically. And my odds were super, super low. But I remember I sat there for, maybe an hour. Because I think they give you 45 minutes or an hour per battle, or time automatically ends up. Well, I remember they attacked, went through a whole, time battle. So, then, of course, they attacked me again after that, and I had to stay fending off, and finally, I ended up having maybe, 100, 200 soldiers left. It was horrible. But, here we can see how the Senate approves, I suppose, of other factions. So here, Macedon, note with approval that war with these people is currently far from your thoughts. However, they wish to impress upon you that, in the interests of the Senate and people of Rome, friendly diplomatic relations should be established. So basically it's saying, hey, possibly, depending on what's going on, there should be some type of relations. And then, of course, it says, we must know more about this people, where their settlements are, their military might, their armies and aims. A diplomatic mission is needed to begin gathering this information. So, of course, a good majority of the time, in the beginning of the games, this section right here is going to be the same. Down here is how the Senate wants you to go about things, basically. From the little we know about these people, they do not appear to have much to offer us. As our empire expands towards them, this situation will undoubtedly change. For now, there are other matters of greater concern. So basically, they're like, don't worry about them. There's no point. Let me try to find some other thing. So, Carthage, which is the settlement that is always attacking the house of Scipii, the Blue House. This is one of those things where the Senate has its own input. The Senate has, after due deliberation, decided that these people are not to be considered friends of Rome. Their claims to territory, freedom, and independence should be disputed at every conceivable opportunity. Basically, we're gonna fucking destroy them. This people can be absorbed into the empire by occupying their cities and imposing good Roman culture in place of their foul and inferior ways. By bringing them our gods, our laws, and our just administration, their towns will become a fine example of our great Roman civilization. So, we'll skip through. Same thing with Gaul. That's because my house will be fighting with them. And, of course, everything else is going on. The Greek cities will be fighting with the House of Brutii, the Green House. But in due time, basically, we will all be fighting everyone. It's Romans against the world. Here, you can do Senate missions and the Senate floor. So, here is the what I was talking about, your power in the Senate, and then how happy you are with your people. So a small majority within the Senate recognize your greatness, but most of the rest feel indifferently towards you. Fortunately, you now rarely provoke outright hostility from the senators. So once your power within the Senate is super high, that is when you're most likely able to overthrow the Senate. And the people, they also play a part as well. The plebeians hate you. More than that, the plebeians hate all your friends, and their pets, slaves, and hangers-on. That's how unpopular you are. So basically, we need to make the Roman people love us and get rid of the Senate. Diplomacy, here you can see where your allies are, who your enemies. Typically, if the House of Brutii makes an enemy, the Senate makes the rest of the houses their enemies as well. So, one faction you have not seen is this little section right here. Those are the rebels. Everyone's going to be at war with the rebels. So, these are people who will cause uprising in your cities and just a whole bunch of other stuff. Here you can see what your income is and how much you're spending. This is super important because you need to learn basically like supply and demand kind of bit, to where you're not spending more money than you're making, then you go into debt and you can't make an army, and then you get destroyed. So, yeah. So, our first suggestion is to come take the city of Segesta. So, even though it's been like 17 minutes going in, I felt like I really need to explain some of that. And then, as the Let's Play keeps going on, how should I put it? Less explanation of what's going on and just more of progressing our place. So here is our siege details. Defenses, none. So when a city has a wall, you have to then construct battering rams or ladders, siege towers, or sap points depending on how big their wall is. The more soldiers that you have in your army, the quicker you can actually build these. Then it'll also give you a couple bits about the city. This settlement has enough food to last 2 turns. So you could basically starve out a settlement, and, you know, I always go for the assault if possible. We can lift the siege, we can assault it, or we can maintain. Maintaining would be, you know, we just have the city surrounded, we starve them out. Lifting the siege is simple as that. Hey, you know, we're gonna let y'all live, be whatever. But now we're going to assault because we want to take this over. So right here is our army strength ratio. So basically, this was that probability bit that I was talking to you guys earlier about. Reinforcements, depending on if you have ally enemies in the area, or you have multiple armies standing around this city, you're able to have those reinforcements come in and help, same as the opposing force. When I was talking about the captain, it's these guys. They don't have a face leader, so you can see it's just a regular unit. So If it's something like that, there's just a captain, and then they give a random name. It's not anybody super important like our actual faction leader right here. Fight battle on the battle map is where we actually fight. Automatically resolve is that, hey, you know, probabilities of me winning this are pretty simple. I'm just gonna automatically resolve, or you can just withdraw from the battle. Here, we're just gonna fight this battle on the map because I said that we were going to. So, what's nice is in between each kind of like loading screen, it has different quotes from actual either philosophers or something like that.
Slaves may think of victory, but we should make them think kindly of their masters' whips. They are dead men. And at the last, brave Romans, I say this: strength and honor to you all!
So they give a little speech, and of course he directly talked about the rebels. So what's nice is these little pre-battle speeches, they will always be talked about from the stance of who you're fighting. So if you're fighting the Greek cities, they'll talk about the Greek cities. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my entire infantry line here and my missile units, spread them out there, and I want my archers to have fire arrows, just cause. So I always start this battle off the entire time the same way every time. I'm gonna take my cav and place them right here. Reasons why is because I'm gonna take all of these lovely folk. Oh man, I hate. There's a command on how you can stop that. Where you can actually allow the camera to move freely. Let me look it up real quick. Because I want to be able to zoom in for you guys. The command. In options menu. I can do it through the options menu. Game options. General camera. Restrict camera. Okay. There's a command that you can actually use while typing that out. Aren't I dumb? But then this allows us to actually come up and zoom in. But here, you know, there's no point of them actually trying to come up and fight, because at this point in time, my units are far superior, and there's a bit of strategy when it comes to fighting. Of course, depending on the type of infantry units that you're using to fight, you want certain ones to square up with different ones. Of course, you want your missile. I really don't want to throw out actual military terms, but your missile units. We'll just go with that. Your missile units to pick off, you know, who you need to pick off, and then you use your cav as sort of your hammer. The whole point of it is called a hammer and anvil technique. The anvil being your infantry units, because of course, you know, if they're fighting, there's going to be a line that they're fighting on. That is what creates your anvil effect. The hammer is your cav actually coming up from behind and hitting the opponent infantry. So, first off, if you're being charged with a horse and a fucking horse hits you, you can almost bet that you're already down. Another bit is, let me take these guys. Some infantry units also have javelins that they can throw, so that's what I was just turning on. But, wonder why these guys are marching. But here, you can see the fire arrows coming, smacking them. But, as I was saying, not only if you have your back turned and then somebody is slashing swords and you are now sandwiched, it's gonna destroy your morale, for one. And it is definitely something. So, they're now gonna come to a head-to-head fight, and now this is where I'm gonna use my cav to do this hammer and anvil effect. Of course, you can see it has a status. They're charging, they're steady, and then whether they're tired or anything. That also plays an important role in making sure that the morale of a unit is good, because if they're not, they're gonna withdraw, they're gonna run. Sad thing is, if you're defending a city, it is a fight to the death. If your unit loses, or your army loses, it's not that you can just turn around, run away, and live free. That entire city is gonna be either enslaved,
enemy army is in flight.
Pursue them and drive them from the battlefield. That's the only quote that I can still remember from this. But I always continue the battle. Reason why is I slaughter everyone. I slaughter. But each little thing that happens, a little box will pop up to the side so that way you can see. And what's cool is you get a brief synopsis of what happens to the battle. You can sit here and you can go even further in depth, and you can see what unit sustained casualties, how many they conflicted, healing casualties, and so on and so forth. Men of Athens. Victory! Alright, and boom, there we go. So whenever I take a settlement, I always enslave the populace. Reason why is it spreads the rest of the civilians or pedestrians, however you would like to call them, spreaded to other cities. So of course, you know, our Senate mission was successful. They gave us 5,000 denarii, which is our currency here. So here you can see that the face has turned blue, which means the people aren't really happy right now. So different things do different stuff. So Shrine to Jupiter, public order bonus due to happiness and law. This one is just straight up happiness. And let's do the Shrine of Bacchus. We'll definitely need that. And then we also need to recruit some folk. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna start moving my diplomat forward. There's no point of really trying to start relations with the Gauls if I plan on attacking them. So let's just go ahead, end our turn, and here now the Gauls are trying to do something. So, you know, we'll accept trade rights. Trade rights, more money that we're coming. So, Senate mission assigned. They want us to block Syracuse. So, end of turn report. We are the richest faction. Construction complete. They built the shrine. Our unit is boom. And diplomatic information. So, at this point, at the end of every turn, if there is any type of diplomatic relations dealing with war, alliances or anything like that, they get reported out to everyone. So, of course, you can see the Senate and House of Scipii are at war with the Greek cities. Here soon we will be too. But here's our ship. Where is Syracuse? Syracuse is over here. They want us to go over there and blockade. So, each ship has, or each unit has a range of motion, basically, of where they're gonna go. So here, you can also see military military strength based on the color of their banner. If it is pure straight green, that means they have a full 20 slots set up, and there's strength in numbers. The strength of the commander, or his ability to command and lead, is based on the number of stars. So Lugo Torix here has 2 stars. We can go to Flavius Julius, and his command is 4. Management 4, influence 5. It all plays a part of how settlements will react to them being in the city. Traits is what gives him these kind of stars right there. Retinue is kind of things that, how should I word it? Basically builds his characteristics, basically. So, I'm not gonna do much. What I am gonna do is take some of these guys and move them out. And then for the village, we need to construct a governor's house. I'll just do a normal high tax rate at this point and just see what's gonna happen. So, not much to do. So, when you have daughters, they can get married to other people. That this will allow you to have more governors, so on and so forth. So, you can take a look at their age, depending on how old they are, and their traits. You don't want somebody to get married into the family that nobody's gonna like, or isn't something that they're gonna like. Richest factions. So the Seleucid Empire took that from us. We constructed the governor's house, town watch. War declared the House of Bruttii and the Greek cities, and boom. So your person ends up showing up wherever, basically. Get the town watch going. Now we need to recruit, which I want to build a trader first, because we want to be able to you know, go on with our trading and such. So until you're actually with war with a unit, it will continue to ask you, are you sure you want to attack a neutral faction? So next turn, we'll be able to actually lay siege to their port. Who is... Okay, that's the Senate. I'm gonna continue to move my diplomat this way, because you have Carthage, who will end up getting to war with, but you also have the Spaniards over that way. I want to be able to trade with them, and since we got a port right here, it'll be a little easier for us. Bruttii, and here's our spy. We can go ahead and spy. So this is how we can spy on commanders, basically, and just see, you know, their traits. And then you can also take a look to see what their bodyguard unit is, basically the type of unit he's in, and basically a brief description on, you know, themselves. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead in my turn, because, you know, there's nothing else for me to do. End of turn report. So as you can see, not a whole lot has happened. We're going to come this way and go ahead and lay siege so we can complete that Senate mission. Boom. So, we're not going to get rewarded until the next turn. So now that these guys are a little happy... Oh, no, they're already at a high tax rate. We're going to build a wall. Build a wall, people. Build a wall. I'm still not going to attack these guys yet. I am gonna continue to send him out that way, and we're gonna end our turn. So Gaul is moving an army out towards that way. Take Patavium. All right, we can do that. Senate mission successful, so they gave us 1,000 denarii. All right, construction complete. We have a trader. Awesome. I'll hold the siege until they take over that city. More than likely, that's what's gonna happen. Now, we're gonna go attack the Gauls. So here, my army has 94 build points. Since it has a defense, we're gonna have to buy a battering ram, or build one. So, time to build queued items is 1. If I click another one, it's gonna take 2, because each ram's 50 points, 100 is more than 94. So, we're gonna maintain the siege, and then of course that pops up saying that we're going to war. What's that? Rebel town. Okay. So, you're able to bribe rebels into just joining your faction, but I'm not gonna worry about it. Oh, I should have attacked Lugo Torix. Shouldn't I? Oh. We need to build... Let's build a shrine first and then a wall. Ah, man. And then, what do we got going on here? Okay, those guys can handle it. Let's go ahead and end our turn. So more than likely, Lugo Torx is going to come attack us. No. Okay. That was a shock. So, end of turn report. Construction. Diplomatic information. So since we started war with the Gauls, every single house has joined us. So what you can do as not a leader, but commanders can actually recruit mercenaries to be able to join, give them that extra kind of little power. And let's go ahead and assault Patavium. We want another city. So of course, 3-to-1 ratio. These guys definitely have a little more fight to themselves compared to what we were fighting with the rebels. A bad peace is even worse than war. Tacticus. It makes sense, you know, if you have horrible relations with somebody even during peacetime, definitely worse.
And think they are our equals or better. I think they had the stench of death about them. Brave Romans, prepare to defend yourselves!
Such a beautiful, beautiful speech, Flavius. Beautiful. So, now, these little things are towers. This is where you will have people shooting arrows from as you're coming in. So, it's not good to just let a unit sit right out in front of them and, you know, get beaten. So, for the most part, I'm gonna leave most of my army behind so they can't shoot at me. I'm gonna try to take this battering ram to the center of this wall as possible, so that way these guys can't just shoot at me. And we'll speed up here, and you can sit here and see they only got like 3 units. So these guys are just a normal war band. To tell which unit the commander is in, he has a special little banner compared to the rest of them. As you can see, these other units just have a longer banner, as the one that we have is... oh, don't drop the siege equipment. Pick it up. Pick it up. Get onto the ram and go. I didn't mean to hit drop the ram. So what I'm gonna do is take these guys. I'm gonna set the formation to loose, meaning it'll be a little harder to hit. And this warband's coming up, so I want to be able to move these guys up.
Our soldiers are at the walls! Now they must batter a way through.
No, I'm not gonna send these guys yet. So we just gotta wait for the damage to become 100% when they actually knock down the wall. And the good thing with having a missile unit is even though these guys are inside the walls, we can still attack them. Thank gosh. Because if we can take some of these guys out before actually breaking into the wall, it'll help us tremendously. And of course, you know, they're gonna run now. But we've already got 1, 2, 3. Oh, we got a good bit on that last shot. You guys stay back down. Oh, no. I moved the wrong unit. My bad. Control I. And then once these guys break the wall.
Smiled on us today. The walls are broken. Our troops should be ordered forward.
So. Alright, so we're gonna move our generals here. And a good majority of these guys are gonna get hit by like javelins and arrows before they actually come fight. And as you can see, they have another war band coming right up there. Look at our barbarian mercenaries just leading the way on this charge. Which is a good thing because barbarian mercenaries we can easily just re-up on. So when a banner becomes white like this, they are now broken. As you can read, it says distraught over the number of enemies. So this is what's gonna cause them to be like, oh shit, you know, whatever. But a good majority of these guys just they all died. All 120 of them just got murdered. And we're gonna march our infantrymen there. We're gonna take our missile units. And actually, if these guys are gonna go straight up this way, let's set them up like so. We'll set them there, and we will have our barbarian mercenaries go out this way. Let's bring our general right here. Okie dokie. So this is where it can take a little while, because you don't want to just have your units running all over the place. They're gonna get tired, and as long as the enemy's just sitting up here resting, they're gonna have all that energy to be able to fight back your units. So it's not a good idea. What are you doing back there, guys? I guess I'll make the archers run since they're further back. And then once they get into the walls, I can make them walk. Okie dokie. They're within the walls now. We're gonna tell them to stop. What way are these guys rolling? I wonder if they're gonna turn and take this way up. Yeah, that appears to be the case. I don't understand why they just didn't go straight up, but okay. Okay. I'm gonna make these guys run just a tad. They're warmed up, impetuous, so they're good. Because I kind of want these guys to take the lead on this this battle as well. But the episodes for these are gonna be a tad longer than anything else, because I want this is gonna be one of those more things where you just kind of sit down and take the time to see what's going on. Okay, so maybe like an hour and a half, maybe. It'll probably be like an hour. I don't want to go over too long of what I normally do, so I'm gonna put these guys at a walk, and their special ability is War Cry. Basically, these guys are gonna get so pumped up right before they run and charge into these guys. So here come my cav up this way, and okay. Safe and knowledge that the flanks are secure. So these guys are gonna come running out. I'm gonna charge my guys at them too. And this is kind of dumb having the other warband not in the fight yet, but nah, I'm not gonna have those guys go. Archers. I'm gonna have the archers fight these guys too. Okay, they're still facing up this way. So these guys are now getting added into that fight, and they're now, with them being hit by arrows, I think I'm gonna go ahead and charge my cav into them. Okay. Run back this way. Okay. Run. Actually, let's start hitting some of these guys.
The enemy general is running away. This is no way for a leader to behave, but in battle, it's beyond belief.
Control A to select all, and we're all just gonna converge. I'm gonna pull my general out. Just kind of hold off. There's only 8 of those guys. See, just me trying to charge at them had broken them. Okay. Let's get some of this close-up action. Come run back this way. There we go. Get them from behind. All right. I would say that eventually these guys will break, but if they're within the small little flags around this plaza, they'll just stay fighting. Boom.
The gods be praised. The enemy general is dead.
Captain Sinianus.
Sinianus
is gone. Alright, so basically,
Rome will be amazed at such
there we are.
The day is ours.
Alright, so they were able to do more kills on us. They're also more skilled than rebel fighters are most of the time, so not too worried about it. We're gonna enslave so that way we can bring some stuff up. Your reward unit is located at your capital, so I'll show you guys in a minute. Retinue expands. We now have a slave trader for Flavius Julius. Basically, if he's taken over so many spots and whatnot, he will, and after enslaving a while, anybody can get that trait. So here, let's build a trader there. We need a trader there. What are we doing here? We'll put a trader in the queue there. And let's put up barracks because we'll have to make soldiers. Right now, I will continue to have Flavius here. I will then move Lucius Julius up to Batavium. But we got this homeboy right there. So we can recruit peasants at least. Okay. Let's go ahead, end our turn, and continue moving this way. So of course, down at the bottom left, you can see the entire map. We'll basically see what we can see within our little thing. Take Massilia. Alright, so we're gonna take Massilia. That's right there. That is where the Gauls are. So, faction announcements. Amulus Julius is now old enough to contain an army. Amulius is right here. Well, can I recruit? Town Watch. I don't want to spend too much on armies just yet. I can still kind of hold off a little bit until some stuff has happened. Let's go ahead and just end our turn right now. So, Epidaurus is now attacking... Where is he at? Oh, he's attacking Segesta. So, of course, we will fight till the end. Army strength is 3 to 4. Let's see what he has. He just has warbands. Oh, well, let's go ahead and fight this on the battlefield. After this fight, I will call this an episode, and we'll see what happens during this fight. Me, with the units that I have,
Today we go into battle against the Gauls. Warriors both worthy and brave in equal measure. There is no shame in fear. There is only shame in letting fear rule you. Try not to look scared, and you'll find bravery in your heart.
Beautiful, beautiful speech. All right, so those guys are right up over that way. Let's take my light infantry. Place them like this. Actually, let's stick our spearmen up front this way. Here, here. We have Hazadi that can throw javelins, so we'll stick them there. And then our cav unit there. So this is the thing that I hate. Hopefully, sad thing is they have heavy cavalry as well. Send those guys there. Take these guys. I said run. Actually, let's come here. So those guys are routing. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And those guys are gonna come, maybe? Who knows? Okay, those guys are broken. These guys just broke. This is what I like to see. Run this way. Why are y'all charging? Okay. So take those two. Oh no, they all want to route now. Nope, 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 nope. Keep attacking these guys. Keep attacking them. Peasants are like the cheap and horrible units in the first place. Come on, y'all better get him. Yes! Got him. We're gonna continue the battle. Usually once the enemy general dies, the rest of his men rout. Which, I mean, it makes sense. Epidorix is now killed. And we'll just finish off this last guy. Because no point of trying to chase down these guys. We'll get what we can. Go ahead, triple game speed, and allow them to flee. And we just secured Segesta. We still own Segesta, which is awesome. Looked like one of those units has already left the battlefield, and there's still one more that's heading out in a way. So, heroic victory. So, we slaughtered a good majority of their people, also killed one of their family members, so hopefully, you know, that sends a, hey, don't fuck with us. Enemy army routes. Alright. End of turn report. Trait increased. Since we were able to fight off, I don't want to say a more superior commander, but somebody who is a big name, we got a trait called the Good Commander. This man has gained another command star thanks to his battle skills. So we got a +2 command, which is good for fighting, and we're good there. Diplomatic information. Thrace and Dacia are at war with each other, and Britannia and Germania are now at war with each other. So, I'm going to go ahead and call an episode there. I'm honestly probably going to record some of these back-to-back, because if I'm having a long bit at work where, you know, I'm coming home, I don't have time to record, I can at least put up some of these videos. So that way I'm still getting some content out to you guys. But down in the description I have my social media. Please go like my Facebook page, go follow my Twitter, go follow my Twitch, please. I also have a instant link to my Discord, so that way you can join and come hang out with me after that. Besides that, guys, it is your boy Thorenx signing out. Deuces.